Today I am going to be showing you how to add or subtract fractions. I have two equal shapes here divided into 4 equal parts each. I'm going to shade 1/4 of the first shape and 2/4 of the second shape. So as you can see, both of them have the same denominators. When two fractions have the same denominators, they are called like fractions. And as a rule, you can only add or subtract like fractions. The denominator will tell you how many equal parts you divide your whole into. In this case, both shapes are divided into 4 equal parts each. So you copy the common denominator of 4 and you add the numerators 1 plus 2, which will give you 3/4 in total. So for the second shape, we have divided it into 5 equal parts. So I'm going to shade 3 parts of this shape. So 3/5 are shaded, and if I take 1/5 away, so that's minus 1/5, you copy the common denominator 5 and subtract the numerators. So 3 minus 1 gives you 2, so 2/5 remains shaded. It's the same rule for addition and subtraction. You need to have a common denominator before you can add or subtract the numerators. Now I have two shapes here divided into different equal parts. The first shape is divided into 4 equal parts. So if I shade one part, so that's 1/4 shaded. For the second shape, if I shade one part, that's 1/2 shaded. I cannot add both the fractions because they have these different denominators. So each shape is divided into different equal parts. So what I'll do, I'm gonna find common denominator for both by looking for the least common multiple. So you have 4 and 2. So the multiples of 4 are 4, 8, 12. So just start with a few multiples, and the multiples of 2, 4, and 6. You're going to find the least common multiple from both sets. So to find the least common multiple, you're going to find the first number which is common to both, and that's going to be your common denominator. So for 4 and 2, your common denominator is 4. The first fraction already has 4 as a denominator, so just copy that. So you have 1/4. And for the second fraction, you have 2 as a denominator, so you multiply 2 by 2 to get 4. And as a rule, if you are going to multiply the denominator by a certain number, you do the same to the numerator too. So multiplying both numerator and denominator by 2, you have 2 times 2 for the denominator, give you 4, and for the numerator 1 times 2, that will give you 2. So I am now showing you that the second shape has been divided into 4 equal parts, so making the 1/2 into 2/4. Copying the common denominator of 4 and adding the numerator will give you 1 and 2, 3. So another example, you have 1/3 plus 1/5. They have different denominators again, so find a common denominator by finding the multiples of each denominator. So these are the multiples of 3 and these are the multiples of 5. The least common multiple is 15, so we want to make both denominators 15. So to make 3 into 15, you multiply that by 5, and again you do the same to the numerator. So 3 times 5 give you 15, and 1 times 5 gives you 5. For the second fraction, you're going to multiply 5 by 3 to give you 15, and do the same to the numerator, 1 times 3. So 5 times 3 is 15, and 1 times 3 gives you 3. You have a common denominator of 15 now, so you copy that and then add the numerators. 5 plus 3 gives you 8. Another example, so we're going to be subtracting this time. Both addition and subtraction have the same rules. You need to have a common denominator for the fractions. So 7/12 minus 2/4. So you're going to find the multiples of 12 and 4 and find the first common multiple, and this is 12. So the first fraction is already 12, so you just copy that, do not do anything to it. but the second fraction, you want to make the denominator into 12, so you multiply that by 3. So 4 times 3 will give you 12, and 2 times 3 gives you 6. Copy the common denominator, and then which is 12, and then subtract the numerator. 7 minus 6 will give you 1. Now it's your turn to do these exercises. Press the pause button while you do your workout, and press play again when you finish and compare your answers. So for the first question, you have a common denominator of 10, so you just subtract the numerator. 9 minus 3 give you 6. You can also simplify that by dividing both numerator and denominator by 2, which will give you 3/5. Now for the second question, you have 4 and 8 for denominators, and by now you should have worked out the common denominator will be 8, because 8 is a multiple of 4. So you multiply 3/4 by 2, so 3 times 4 will give you 8, and 3 times 2 for the numerator will give you 6. And copy the second fraction, because the denominator is already 8 for that. So you have 7/8. Copy the common denominator of 8, add the numerator 6 and 7, which will give you 13. 13/8 is an improper fraction, so we're going to simplify that. By now you should know how to convert improper fractions into mixed number. So 8 goes into 13 once, and you have a remainder of 5, and just copy the denominator. So your answer is 1 and 5/8. For number 3, you should have worked out that the common denominator should be 12. So multiply 6 times 2, which will give you 12, and 5 times 2 is 10. For the second fraction, you multiply both numerator and denominator by 3, so that your 4 times 3 is 12, and 3 times 3 is 9. So copy the common denominator of 12, and then subtract the numerator. 10 minus 9 gives you 1, and so you have 1/12. Hope you got all these answers right, and thank you for watching.